The Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, is appealing to stakeholders in the education sector and other concerned Nigerians to remain calm on the new 9-year basic education curriculum to enable the National Assembly to look into the various issues raised. Speaking at a meeting with a delegation from the Christian Association of Nigeria in Abuja, Senator Saraki explains that the background to the introduction of the policy began in 2010. The leader of the CAN delegation, Professor Charles Adisa, describes the omnibus subject in the curriculum as offensive to the Christian faith, as it misinterprets some core teachings in Christianity.
These are the positions of Nigerian Christians. Number one, these are our prayers. That the curriculum, as it concerns this omnibus subject, religion and national values, should be scrapped as a subject. In its place, there should be 3 distinctive subjects, each standing on its own. They are: 1, Christian religious studies should stand on its own; Islamic religious studies should stand on its own; and social study and civic education, they can come together as one. The Federal Ministry of Education and State Ministries of Education must be made to employ religious studies teachers so that pupils and students will have the opportunity to study any religion of their choice in all public schools in Nigeria. The Christian faith has suffered monumental damage caused by the publication and circulation of this curriculum. We consider the curriculum libellous and demand unreserved apology from the Federal Ministry of Education and the National Education Research and Development Council. We demand immediate restatement of Christian religious studies, that's number 4, in the curriculum of the State's Ministry of Education that have delisted it from their school curriculum.
Clearly the reform is not working, because I'm sure, I don't vote for Jonathan administration, but I'm sure President Jonathan will not, when they were doing the reform, did not expect this. But clearly it's not working. So our responsibility is to look into that reform and make it work. My commitment to you is that we would refer it to the Committee on Education to look at it. Look at the reform, why isn't it working? And if it's not working, then some of your prayers definitely. But the principle that we will abide is that we must respect the Constitution.
The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, over what the House calls an attempt to intimidate the Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme for testifying on issues of corruption in the sector. In a motion that was debated and adopted, the House says the minister appears to be victimizing the Executive Secretary by suspending him. The House has therefore urged the minister to recall the NHIS boss from suspension and allow him continue his work.
I took the motion to the House to start with, asking the House to help me protect the the Executive Secretary of NHIS, who appeared before my committee during the investigative hearing we had on the 21st and 22nd of June. Immediately after the public hearing, he got suspended by the minister, and the popular view or opinion of Nigerians is that the suspension has to do with the evidence, the revelations he made, his outburst during the public hearing, where he publicly told Nigerians that he is sitting on the fraud. Barely less than 12 days after that outing, we hear he's been suspended, and the reason and the excuse is that there are petitions against him, and then the minister said he's setting up a panel to investigate the allegations, and here we are putting the cart before the horse. So where then lies the fair hearing if the man is already suspended for as long as 3 months before commencement of investigations of the allegations against him?
Well, Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers State says the Supreme Court judgment that resolved the leadership crisis of the People's Democratic Party has given him hope and the belief that the party can retake power at the center in 2019. The governor, who was received by a crowd of jubilant supporters of the People's Democratic Party in Port Harcourt, said victory at the Supreme Court is not just victory for democracy, but also a strong signal that the political circulation and the calculation in the country has changed with the emergence of a viable opposition. Niger Delta youth are appealing to the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, to keep his promise to meet with them on how they can get more involved in governance. The youth leaders in the region say that there's no better time than now to hold this all-important discussion, especially with the call for restructuring that has consistently been on the front burner for many weeks. They were speaking on the sidelines of the inauguration of a new executive council of the Ijaw Youth Congress.
The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, visited Delta State in February this year to engage leaders of the Niger Delta on how to spur growth in the region. That meeting led to a promise to the youths that they will meet again to get them more involved in governance.
There is no way that any gathering of elders can tell what the future will hold without consulting and conferring with the young people. And that's why I'm going to ensure that I have that meeting with all of the young people, all of the various groups of youth, so that we can talk about the issues and resolve all of the issues.
It's been 5 months since that promise was made, and the youths are still holding him to his words. They renewed the call at an official handover of the new national executive of the Ijaw Youth Council in Warri South local government area of Delta State.
For them to be sincere, so far so good, so many blueprints, so many issues have been submitted before them. We want to see the government pick up one, and then we will be convinced that, okay, even if we are to meet again with the vice president, will it be another jamboree?
The new IYC president says complete resource control will be a major item on the agenda when the acting president fulfills his Meet the Youth tour as promised.
It is now a generally accepted concept that there must be restructuring of Nigeria. And of course, we cannot restructure Nigeria without people coming together. And that is where I want to provide leadership. I will go around the nook and cranny of this country to meet other ethnic nationality youth leaders on the ground for youths of this country to support restructuring, because restructuring is in the best interest of this country. I do hope that the vice president is only being held by bureaucratic challenges. We hope that he will call that meeting soon, and the youth of the Niger Delta will have the opportunity of presenting our own case to him.
The youths believe it's time to actively engage the government with strategizing on how to ensure sustainable peace for optimal growth.